Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie Kabukani.
Thank you.
And I am honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies and moderator for this momentum gathering, Africa Day 2025. Africa Day is celebrated annually on May the 25th, and it marks the founding of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, which later evolved into the African Union. The day commemorates the collective commitment of African nations to unity, freedom, and progress following centuries of colonization and exploitation. Originally called African Freedom Day, I didn't know that. It was established to highlight the continent's liberation struggles and to foster solidarity among African states. Today, Africa Day is both a reflection on Africa's journey toward political and economic independence and a celebration of its diverse cultures and shared aspirations. We gather today under the theme, Building Sustainable Development with Africa. This theme is not just a phrase, it is a call to honor Africa's global partnerships, recognize its leadership in climate innovation, peace building, and resilience, and to affirm that sustainability cannot exist without equity and collaboration. Today is about connections between communities, continents, and commitments to justice and growth. I want to begin by acknowledging that we stand on the traditional land of the Abenaki people, and we honor their history and ongoing contributions. Our Africa Day celebration is more than a schedule of speeches. It's an invitation to reflect, to listen, to dance, to learn, and to build a more just, sustainable world together. With that spirit in mind, I'd like to warmly welcome our opening speakers who embody leadership across different levels of our community. So I'd like to welcome the President of the African Day Burlington Committee, Miss Robin Lloyd.
So, welcome everyone, and you know, this is the fifth annual Africa Day, and the first two of them took place in my yard at 300 Maple Street. I hope some of you were there then. It was really a very lively event. Ganaka Likaka, he spoke very eloquently under the big pine tree. Eric spoke, and we even had Zulu dancing, which maybe that will take place later today.
Exactly.
So Africa Day has grown, this being the fifth annual event. It's grown here in Burlington, but also the Pan-African movement has grown immensely in Africa. And so we celebrate that here. The organization I am a part of is Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. We have sections in many of the countries of Africa. We are for peace. We are not for militarization, so we struggle against that one, and the United States military involvement with Africa, which we don't fully understand the reason for, and maybe you can explain. So despite the terrible news from Sudan, the wars in Sudan and the Congo, there is progressive leadership is rising up. Some of you remember Thomas Sankara from the 1980s, who was the leader of Burkina Faso. Well, there are now leaders from that area, the Sahel region, that are leading progressive governments and asking the French to leave their country and trying to be on their own. So I think there's a lot to talk about today, and I'm very much looking forward to the panel and the discussion later.
Thank you, Robin. Next, it's my honor to introduce the Mayor of Burlington, the Honorable Emma Mulvaney Stanak.
You know what's hilarious? My kids came with me last year for Africa Day, and they still talk about you as the DJ. I don't know if you're the same DJ, but the soundtrack, my wife still finds that and plays it every time I enter the room. It's hilarious. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mayor Emma, or Mayor Mulvaney Stanak. I'm so pleased to be here with all of you today. And it's such a joy and privilege to be able to celebrate Africa Day, to celebrate it here in the heart of Burlington, here in the Old North End. I want to thank the organizers and, of course, all the community partners for making this incredible gathering possible. Today we celebrate not only a continent rich in culture, history, and resilience, but also the refugees and immigrants that make Burlington a much more vibrant community for all. I want to take a moment and just recognize the panelists here with me, but also the performers who will be here later this afternoon and evening, and the chefs who will make wonderful food. I just want to thank everyone for your voices, your stories, your talents, and your sharing of food with us today, because that builds such important community. I also want to acknowledge former City Councilor Ali Zhang, who's here today, and Jules, who's a fellow parent. Where did Jules go? He was just there a second ago. There he is, Jules, fellow preschool parent with me over here at Robin's Nest. It just shows what a great and vibrant community we have. Africa Day commemorates the founding of the Organization of African Unity, as you've heard before, in 1963. A moment of immense importance, not only to African nations, but to all people who care about liberation, self-determination, and unity. While the official day was May 25th, as also mentioned before, we gather to reflect and to celebrate how far we've come and to recommit ourselves to the work ahead. Burlington has a proud history and bright future welcoming people from various African nations. These connections are formally recognized by our sister city relationship with each chest of Senegal, and this is not just a symbolic gesture, I want to emphasize. It's a tangible commitment to the international partnership, the cultural exchange, and the mutual learning that this relationship enables us. Through this partnership, students and artists, public officials, and citizens from both cities have connected. We've shared meals, music, letters, hopes for the future. I was even on a Zoom that people were so dedicated, they made it work in the most hard technology possible. But that's the determination that really forms really long-standing relationships. We've learned that despite the distance between us, our communities share deep values of family, of community, of human dignity, and of collective care. And here at home, Burlington has become a place for African families, whether from Somalia, Sudan, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Senegal, or other nations. Folks have found a second home in our city. The stories of migration are not always easy, but what we see in this room and in the neighborhoods across our beautiful city is the incredible strength and resiliency of African Vermonters. You enrich this city. You are business owners, you are community leaders, you're teachers and nurses and students and artists, and by bringing your languages, your traditions, your wisdom, your energy, you make Burlington more whole, more human, and more vibrant. I told my kids it was like the place for the DJ, and they were like, that's when they're getting older, yeah. They're less thrilled about my job a year into this job than they were a year ago, but anyway. But as your mayor, as the mayor of Burlington, I just want to say clearly here today, and I say this as many times as possible, especially in these last few months, Burlington is a welcoming city. And those are not words alone. We are working every day to live our values and to ensure that Burlington is a city that is just and equitable for all. We partner closely with organizations like the Association of Africans Living in Vermont, or AALV, USCRI, and local schools to support language access, job training, housing navigation, and culturally responsive healthcare, as well as a culturally responsive government, I should say, as well. We are investing in affordable housing, equitable education, and better transportation to ensure that all residents have access to the resources and opportunities they need to thrive. We are also proud to support the work of our Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Office, or the REIB, which collaborates across city departments to dismantle systemic barriers and ensure equity is woven into every decision we make as a city government. But I also I also know we have to do so much more. These are such incredibly challenging and uncertain times we're all living through. We face the rising costs, the growing pressures on our immigrant communities, global conflicts that hit home for so many of our residents. We are living in a moment that demands more than just celebration. It demands true solidarity and understanding. So let me say that this to our African communities here in Burlington. We not only see you, we deeply value you, and we stand with you every single day. So we all, and to all of our neighbors across the city, let us recognize this day as an invitation for all of us to listen, to learn, and to build deeper relationships across cultures. Because the strength of our city truly lies in our unity. Our unity must be active, intentional, and bold, especially in these times. Today, we enjoy Ethiopian food, Congolese beats, and Senegalese hospitality. Let us also remember the origins of this day. This is a day born out of a dream of freedom, and unity on the African continent. The dream continues here in Burlington as well. So let us recommit ourselves to building a city where every person can live with dignity, contribute their gifts, and raise their families in peace. Thank you again so much for welcoming me here today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your courage and your culture and your community. And I hope it's a joyous day together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Please join me in welcoming Vermont State Senator Martine Larocque-Gullet.
Merci Julie. Merci tout le monde d'être ici aujourd'hui. Bienvenue à la célébration africaine. Je vais parler en anglais, mais bien sûr, si vous voulez parler en français après, ce serait magnifique. Just a brief introduction in French. My name is Martine Larocque-Gullet. I am a state senator here in Burlington. I represent Winooski also, and Essex, and a little bit of Colchester. I'm thrilled and honored to be here today. I met Jules about 3 or 4 years ago, and when he found out that I spoke French, he immediately invited me to his TV show, to his radio show, and he introduced me to an incredible community right here in my home city of Burlington. Ali, of course, I've known for years. He has been such an incredible advocate and member of our community as a city councilor, and just someone who gives and gives and gives to his community constantly, and I'm so, so grateful. I just wanted to briefly share at this time of difficulty, as our mayor highlighted, that there are also good things happening. I was really happy this year to sponsor a bill for the second time that will start the process of creating an Office of New Americans in state government. Last year, it did not pass. It never got out of committee, but this year, because I had the help of organizations like the Association of Africans Living in Vermont, we were able to get that bill signed by the governor, and that work is going to start, and it's extremely, extremely exciting. And I have to give Ali credit. We met at the Bagel years ago, and I was really thinking that we needed a little bit more continuity among our nonprofits in the state, and Ali mentioned, we should have an Office of New Americans in state government. So thank you, Ali, for that. That was great. Some other pieces of legislation that I just wanted to mention very quickly, again, just highlighting that there is good work happening. Last year, there was a bill, S-191, that the governor signed, and it will increase access to education funding for immigrants and new Vermonters so that folks can go to college and continue their education beyond high school. I wanted to mention the Working Communities Challenge in Vermont, which features 2 teams focused on immigrant inclusion in Winooski and also in southern Vermont. I also wanted to mention that the Office of Professional Regulation, which is an office in state government, the Secretary of State is very involved with this. They have joined a group called World Education Services, and they are now part of a professional licensing bodies for immigrant inclusion. They are working at making sure that folks in our community get credentialed so that they can work, so that they can find jobs and be active members of our community. And lastly, I wanted to mention that CCV, the Community College of Vermont, just created an Office of Multilingual Learning. So that is also very excited. There is good work happening. We are a country of immigrants. That is what we are, and we have to continue to fight for our immigrant population, our refugees, and those of us, like my family, we came to work in the mills of Nashua, New Hampshire in the 1880s. That is what the United States is. We are a welcoming country, and we must continue to do that hard work and that important work. Please, if you have ideas for bills, like Ali had a few years back, bring them to me, because I would like to do whatever I can to support those in my community. And I thank you for being here today.
Merci beaucoup, Martine. Those are good news. Make me think of moving to Vermont from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. And now, it is our privilege to welcome Major General Gregory Knight, Adjutant General of the Vermont National Guard. General Knight, welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everybody. It's a distinct honor and privilege to be here. And thank you for doing this. This is important work. Madam Mayor, Senator, thank you as well for being here. We certainly appreciate your support of all the work we're doing. I had the opportunity to testify in support of your bill. Absolutely all in, so I'm very happy that it passed. So, good work. So, I'm going to give you a quick background. Many people don't understand what the National Guard is and does. We have 2 missions. We serve our communities, our state, and our nation, as we've seen at many times. Even here in Vermont during flooding, our response to COVID, response to the Capitol on January 6th, to wildfires, to earthquakes, to tornadoes, all of those things, that's what the Guard does. That's part of our mission. The other part of our mission is our federal mission, and we do deploy at times overseas. We do a lot of work on security and stability missions in the Horn of Africa and Kosovo, even in the Balkans and Kosovo as part of KFOR. So a lot of experience. But another thing that folks don't know about our Guard, 2/3 of us are part-time. Normally they train 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. And they don't know who we are. So these are your friends, these are your neighbors. Some of them are your teachers, your attorney, your doctor, your nurse, your carpenter, your plumber, all of those things. And they also don't know where a lot of our folks are from. So as a Guard, we have to build our own. We recruit our own. And I looked around our community and I realized this is when I first got this job about 6.5 years ago. There's a huge population out there, and a growing population, that was lacking representation in our Guard. And we shifted our focus, and we started engaging first with the refugee resettlement folks, and well, that's kind of transitory, and then we really started working within the community. Ali Jang is a key element of this. So what has started has really started to get traction. And another thing folks don't know about the Guard, if you are here as a new American, as a lawful permanent resident, if you join our Guard, it accelerates the path to citizenship. Probably by the time you finish your training with us, you'll be an American citizen. So that to me is tremendous. But if I look at our Guard, did you know that our National Guard, as small as we are, is 3 times more diverse than the state of Vermont? I have soldiers and airmen from Ethiopia, from Senegal, from Ghana, from Togo, from Sierra Leone, from Nepal, from Bhutan, from Bolivia, from Ecuador. Did I say India? You get the idea. There's probably more than a dozen countries represented. They are deriving great benefit in serving their communities, their state, their nation. And a lot of benefits come with that. It's not for everybody. But for a part-time job, you do get to do all of those things, and you get an education. And Senator, I think you mentioned the Board of Professional Regulations. A lot of those skills crosswalk into civilian career fields. One thing we've done in the Guard, we've established a partner recruiting initiative for military and employers. You know we need an acronym because of the military. It's called PRIME. And what that does is if you're in the military, our Guard, or you're a spouse, or you are a working age child, a dependent, we will align you with an interview with one of currently 25 participating partner employers of ours. We have 74 more ready to sign up with the Guard so we can align folks for work and career fields. So it's a big deal for us. Now, I'm going to talk just a little bit about our partnership. If you have an opportunity once you wrap up today, I would encourage everybody to look up the National Guard State Partnership Program. A lot of folks are probably thinking, why is the military guy here? The State Partnership Program was founded in 1993. Vermont was one of the first of the original 13. We partnered with then Macedonia. I was just there earlier this week, now North Macedonia. We have partnership, been there for 33 years. We're partnered with Senegal for going on 17 years, and 3 years with the Republic of Austria. On the face of it, yes, it's a military-to-military relationship. It's mutually beneficial. We work to help professionalize. We share best practices. We talk about domestic response to all of those crises that I mentioned earlier. But the true benefit, and Madam MC, you had mentioned it, the importance of relationships.
Exactly.
I am friends with the Chief of Defense in all 3 of those countries, and their ambassadors, and their ministers of defense. And that provides an immediate inroad to our embassy. What that means is we can facilitate things, and Madam Mayor, the thing that you spoke about, it becomes a subnational program. We can facilitate those conversations, and then it becomes a subnational partnership between the city of Burlington and the city of Chess East in Senegal. And now, because of that, and Ali, because of your work and that of your team, you're going in August, I understand. So we went there in April. Fantastic visit. I now have a new friend. I've got more networking. This is the first time in a very long time, again, a military event incorporated our civilian and soon our legislative colleagues to facilitate further growth of what we're doing here. So the potential here is incredible. I'm just humbled and honored to be a very small part of it, but thank you all so much for being here. And Madam, again, thank you for doing this. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, General. Wonderful work. Very good. Now we turn to the heart of today's agenda, our main conference session, where thought leaders will guide us through the landscape of sustainable development in Africa, from diplomacy to geopolitics, resilience, and international partnerships. And it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Eric Agnero, who will talk and development in sub-Saharan Africa. So, Eric brings a lens of policy and global strategy. Eric is an international broadcaster, communication strategist, and entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience across Africa, Europe, and the US. He began his journalism career in Côte d'Ivoire, reporting from outlets like Voice of America and CNN, and later served as a communication specialist for the African Union. Now based in Vermont, he leads Vermont International Trade Enterprise, promoting ethical trade between Africa and New England, and Cacao Connect Vermont, linking West African cacao, right?
Yeah, cocoa.
Cocoa. Cacao is in French. Linking West African cocoa farmers with Vermont's craft chocolate makers. Eric also champions community media as a board member of the Media Factory. Please welcome Eric Admir.
Thank you so much. I wonder what a guy like me is doing in Vermont. I fell in love with Vermont in 2001. I met a young guy from Vermont. He's from Waterbury. His name is Noah Fishman. He's my brother here, and his family is my adopted family here. Noah was wandering in the desert in Mali. I was reporting for a festival over there where one of my favorite musicians, Justin Adams, and the guy from Led Zeppelin again, Robert Plant, was playing the desert with Ali Farka Touré, all the guys, and I was the only medium, from America, that had the chance to broadcast live because a bear on his camel had a satellite phone. So it was a great experience, and make it fast, Noah and I met at the airport. He was coming back with lots of drums and artifacts. He didn't have enough money to pay for the excess luggage. And I had, don't say it, I had my credit card from the job. We used it, but Noah, as a good Vermonter, sent me the check with an invitation to visit Waterbury. I fell in love and then kept Vermont in my mind. So in 2012, after my last major war report in Africa, which was in my own country, the Ivory Coast, I had enough of journalism. How can you be stoic in front of your folks killing each other when you know what is going on? But you can't say because you have to be stoic. So I want to reinvent myself, and I remember this small land in the north where, from Washington, I was even hearing our Senator Bernie Sanders, I was hearing Patrick Leahy, the fantastic job. I said, maybe Vermont is a good place for me to reinvent myself. So I came here, and I never left, only to go back to the African Union. When in 2012, let's face it, it was a little bit slow for someone coming from Washington. And because like the storm was, down, and here we go, So I said, okay, I still go to the African Union, where I realized how, our countries are connected. Today, I'm very happy that the military is here to show us how we can approach Africa now. Africa is changing. It's not the Africa some of you have known when you were Peace Corps, or you were, kind of Noah Fishman with his drums around the continent. Africa now is a continent, because it's not a country. We always tell people, the continent where the youth, where a new generation of leaders are crafting a new agenda, which is that of equity. It's not only equity among, like even here we're looking for, and then we have a wonderful department at City Hall that does that, but it goes beyond. We cannot talk about equity if you not talk about equity around the world. Black life cannot matter only in the US if it doesn't matter, in Africa or elsewhere. So I'll start with what is at stake this year and those coming years in Africa. We have the Sahel region. The Sahel region is facing a great problem, which is terrorism, they say. But in fact, it's the new theater of a new scramble for Africa. Africa is now a land where the Chinese, the Russians are competing with, historical partners like the US, France, which unfortunately didn't change its colonial views on Africa. So today, a lot of countries in these regions are rejecting partners like the US, partners like France and Europe, because I think those partners didn't grasp the change that is, happening in Africa. I was, like in Ivory Coast, where I'm from, they say, come on, we have people who went to university with Macron, so Macron cannot come back again to deal with Africa as if he was with a paternalistic view. We want Macron, who went to school with us, to be a friend with whom we do business. In business, and we treat each other with respect. Unfortunately, Africa is being under the rule of so many mechanisms through which the Western world is, holding Africa as just a land of resources, but something is changing also. As a former journalist, I've seen it. We see now the rise of a Pan-African movement, Pan-Africanist movement, that is making, Africans being more prouder of their continent. They want to do something, and they're looking for partners. And coming from a country that is Ivory Coast, that is the #1 producer of cacao. Ivory Coast produce at least 50% of the cocoa around the world. And now I'm in Vermont. I've been molded by this fantastic idea of sustainable development. I want to be an ambassador for a new relationship between the US, Vermont, and Africa. How can we do that? The US is helping many people around the world find a new life here, find education. There are allies, there are people like Ali across this country that could be the ambassadors for a new relationship between the US and their countries. That's why I decided to approach the chocolate industry here. It's a very, very important industry for our region. But climate change, which is also one of the challenges of Africa, we need to reckon with that. Climate change is real. So real that it putting stress on the agricultural, activities in Africa. The supply of cacao, cocoa, went from a couple of $1,000s for a ton to $10,000 a ton, because there's less and less cacao. There's also the fact that our roundups that are banned here are going into the fields over there and making, the trees less resistant, killing, the natural habitats over there. So there is a stress on cacao. So we said, hey, Eric, you from Vermont, you have also to be faithful to the country that opened the gates to you. That's how it works. I don't believe that, you're just a citizen just to be a citizen. You also have to do something for your country. So how can we foster a better use of our diversity here? When I came in 2012, we were a few people who looked like me. So few that, when I was looking around for a job, I was just given a few, jeans and old jeans and some canned food to go home. Because, the idea of, people coming from difficult countries are just here to need assistance in food and clothing is not, it won't go nowhere because at the end of the day we have a diversified, population, but it has to be also something in action. How can we make the new Americans coming from Africa proud of where they come from, and how they can make a better use of our relationship? And I was very pleased to see that the military was doing it in Senegal. We have, as you know, toward freedom, our stance vis-a-vis the military in the world, especially in Africa, where the big powers are fighting, you know, through military bases, you know. But it's important to see that there's no power or superpower that is better than anyone. I'm not for those who think that because today Russia is helping the Africans stand in front of the Americans, they're necessarily the new friend that will make things better. I'm not saying that because China helps the countries over there with more infrastructure than the rest of, you know, the developed world, which goes only for condoms, only for, AIDS, but without, you know, giving the means for the countries over there to be more independent. So this is my plea. There is a new way to look at Africa. Africa is no longer, you know, the dark continent where everything is doomed to fail. There are people that want to do. There are a lot of people that will choose to drink whiskey rather than vodka, you know, or sake, you know. To finish, when I was at the African Union, Robert Mugabe, I don't know if you know the former president of Zimbabwe, who used to be a good ally. We need to stress on that he used to be a good ally of the Western world. You know, when he was okay for 99% of the population, which is not like from the country, like the white Zimbabwean, to have land, to have, you know, access to land. He asked the US and Great Britain to help him do a reform that will help local folks have access to land. The Western world thought that he was becoming too greedy, gourmand. So they started punishing him. So he said at his last attendance of the African Union Summit of Head of States, 200 years ago, we were raped by the colonizers. Now we can choose to go to have a relationship with China or another power because we can choose now. And it's important for us to understand that looking at Africa as a partner is more productive than looking to Africa as, you know, just a place to get cacao.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Eric. We learned a lot, and thank you for a great job that you're doing, connecting us with Africa, with the US, linking us. Now we're gonna go to Maimouna Ba. She couldn't be here with us. She is in Burkina Faso, but she's gonna join us through Zoom. So Maimouna will talk about peace building and resilience in the Sahel. Maimouna Ba is a grassroots peace builder from Dori, Burkina Faso, and co-founder of Women for Dignity in the Sahel, a youth-led group supporting displaced women and children. In the face of conflict and terror, she champions community-driven resilience and will share a powerful message of hope and resistance from the Sahel today at Africa Day 2025. Welcome, Maimouna.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you, but we can hear you.
Thank you for that small introduction. I will not be that long. I'm Maimouna Ba, and I come from Burkina Faso. a West African country, a French-speaking country. And yeah, unfortunately, now we are going through many challenges, including the fight against terrorism and insecurity. I was born in the Sahel region of this country, in a small town named Dori. This is where I was born and where I grew up. So to go directly in our today's theme, I just want to highlight that I consider myself as a symbol of what international solidarity can achieve. And I will explain you shortly why. In 2012, I was lucky enough to take part to a program named Youth Leadership Program with Francophone Africa, and it's made me travel for the first time out of Africa to the United States of America, and I was hosted by a marvelous person that lately became like a godmother for me, and I hope that she's here and that she can hear what I'm telling. But really, Margarita was kind of my changing life person and my changing life experience. Thanks to the program that she organized with the program for African Group for Education, I discovered very early the power of individual actions and the power of creating initiatives and striving to create change in our communities. So we came back in our countries at that time very determined to move forward and to make changes, and this is all how it began for me. Now I'm at the head of a foundation named the Mama Sahelian Foundation, means the Mother Sahelian Mother Foundation for Peace and Solidarity, and we are driving projects and programs to allow the access of education for children, to encourage the civic involvement of youth, and to promote peace and solidarity, and most importantly, to support the most affected families because of the conflicts that are going on. So we economically empower them, and we also try to give food, food security, and to support the women and the children. But 5 years ago, before I settled the foundation, I also launched an organization, like she said, in my town, Dore, in the Sahel region of Burkina Faso. And the aim of that organization was to bring together all the women that were lucky enough to be literate together, so that we can think about how we can bring change and make things move forward for our community. This is an organization that became a reference at the national and even the international level as a model of leadership and democracy. So we led many initiatives, including programs for education, economic empowerment of women, fighting gender-based violences, and being the president of that organization gave me a voice and made me a kind of figure for this area of the world. And in 2023, I received the United Nations Young Activist Summit Award, and in 2024, I received the the organization I lead is now working on two main projects. The first project is the project that we decided to call Andal Wodila Wuljan. That means knowledge is the road for peace. Because of my own experience, I know that having the chance to be literate, to go to school, is really a key, a changing life key that we can give to children. And before the conflicts in my region, we had many challenges for educating children because the population are really poor and education cannot be offered to all the children. You know, even myself, I consider myself as a very lucky person. I and my two elder sisters, we are the first generation of people to go to school in all our historic families. This is not a long path because I am the last born. So you can imagine how education was a challenge for our society. And because of the terrorism and the insecurity, the children became more vulnerable and they do not have access to the right to education. So with that program, we identify the children based on a groundwork, really taking into account some vulnerability criteria, and we send them to school, but not only. We also give them sponsorship through volunteers who can support them, help them, and take the engagement to be with them during all the part in school. Because many children go to school and unfortunately do not reach the level that can be useful to them. So this is one of the programs that we are running and that we are working on. In 2024, this program helped more than 100 children to go to school, and we are still mobilizing sponsorship for those children. And the second program that we are running now with the foundation is the program that we call Daniel for Peace. Daniel for Peace means economic empowerment for peace. And this program consists in settling 3 cooperatives that will support the economic empowerment of families that are affected by the conflict. So we take as our beneficiaries 60% of internally displaced families and 40% of host communities that are really vulnerable. So we also have vulnerability criteria. These are the programs that my foundation is running now in Burkina Faso. But the foundation, there is also still the association that I founded that I'm no more leading, that is thriving to continue building the process that led the beginning of the change that we are willing for our community. And among the projects and the programs that this organization is running, there is a program named Sahel Girls Leadership Program. For me, the Youth Leadership Program with Francophone Africa was a really opening eyes experience, and what I learned, what I received as knowledge, but also as just human connection, was enormous and was, as I said, a changing life experience. And in my opinion, we need to continue building this kind of programs that has already shown the results and that they are effective. So we are trying to do it at the regional level and at the national level, and our hope is that we can one day replicate it at the international level, just like the Youth Leadership Program with Francophone Africa. We are also driving programs like One Child, One Tree to face the climate change and the desertification of our region due to conflicts and droughts. And we are also running some other programs to fight against gender-based violence and to support the women that are suffering, for instance, when they are giving birth. So here are some key information about my work that I wanted to share with you. And I really have a call to action for all those who are here today to listen us. We can really make a change, a real difference in someone's life. And this is where we have to act. Because if I decide to help someone, no one can change my mind but me. For instance, we have seen when the President Donald Trump was elected, he just decided to suspend all the USAID fundings for some countries in Africa. And this is something that cannot happen if individuals are involved. So if I'm using my own resources to support a child in Africa or anywhere else in the world, no president, no politic, no organization can stop me from making a true change in his life. And this is what Margaret did for me, and this is what I want all of you to get involved and to engage in doing in your life. It can be in Africa or anywhere else in the world. We have seen that all political-based solutions are not.
Thank you very much, Maimuna. We need more African women like you to build the continent and to create those partnerships. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to have a moment of détente, like we say it in French. There are some drinks. We have drink, we have water, we have all sorts of drink for you guys. So now is our moment of détente. So we will have a performer, Celine, who will come and will show us some good moves, African moves. Celine, where is Celine? Bienvenue, Celine.
I think it's some of one of our members, whatever the hat on has. Was he? I think so. Maybe. Might have, but I'm pretty sure that's how much over there that we have. I don't know how to.
Yes, I'm here.
You gonna get a drink, Mark? No, I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I can.
Hello everyone, my name is Celine Quadio. I'm from West Africa, Ivory Coast, and today I'm going to present to you guys one of my new single that is out. It's in my native language.
And what is your native language, Celine?
I'm Baoulé.
Baoulé. Do you know about la légende de Baoulé? Okay, go ahead.
Chenga
He leads global peace-building efforts through Vermont's military partnership with Senegal, focusing on joint missions, civil-military projects, and capacity building. He is a respected voice on cross-cultural defense relations and humanitarian diplomacy. Major Enriquez brings deep experience in bridging local leadership with international cooperation. Major, the floor is yours.
I'm very humbled by that introduction. It's a lot more than I'm used to for a humble servant of the government. But thank you for the invitation, especially thank you to Ali and Eric for organizing me to speak here and share a little bit about what we do. You heard some from General Knight, our General of the National Guard, a few minutes ago, but he has asked me to expand a bit more on what we do. I have a small presentation, but before I go there, a little bit about myself. I, like many of you, am a first-generation American. My family comes from the Philippines, and we're a family of political refugees who you might remember the Marcos regime in the Philippines in the 1970s. We left and I was born in America as a result of that. I spent my first 8 or 9 years in Switzerland. Alors je suis aussi francophone. Si vous voulez continuer en français?
Yes,
And my next 8 or 9 years were in the Philippines. And Tagalog, okay, I don't think anyone speaks Tagalog here. I am blessed with having a joy for culture and travel. I also speak Spanish, I speak some German. I learned Macedonian and Albanian because I was stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Macedonia for 3 years. And so I'm very blessed to have the job to run the international affairs of the National Guard. What brought me to Burlington, to Vermont really, was Norwich University. I arrived maybe 25 years ago. And after my time in Norwich, I moved to Pitkin Street. So I am also an old North End Burlingtonian originally, so it's great to be back in my old neighborhood. So military background, I served in several combat deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, and a peacekeeping mission in Kosovo, and recently been assigned as our International Affairs Director. But to continue on some of the very important points that were mentioned today about Africa in general, before I speak about Senegal, I think it's very important. Well, one, I was in Kenya last week for what's called the Chiefs of Defense Conference. This is once a year where the top generals of every African nation comes together to speak about issues, primarily security issues in the continent. And primarily counterterrorism, border security, illegal fishing, criminal activities are all things that African nations are dealing with and learning to deal with collectively and trying to learn to deal with regionally among themselves. It's important to note that this is the 21st century. We are 1/4 of the way, 25% into the 21st century, where Africa today has approximately 2 billion citizens, population. By the end of this century, it's expected the African population will be 4 or 5 billion, with half of the population being 30% or younger. So a very young population, a very innovative population. It's extremely important for you as citizens of America to help your families and colleagues and compatriots in Africa understand what values, especially what African values, are important so that that population can grow into prosperity, which has not been the case through the years of colonialism in the last few decades. So African values of peace, of respect, spirituality, hospitality, and community, which is why it's great to see everyone here in community today. So thank you for that. I will now continue briefly on our presentation about Senegal. So As you see, the Vermont National Guard, as mentioned by the General, has 3 international partners. This is part of a large network that consists of about 120 countries today. Vermont, our small state, has 3 partnerships. North Macedonia in the Balkan region, Senegal in West Africa, and recently Austria in Central Europe. Each country is very different. We cannot use the same approach to partner with one nation as we do with the other nation, but we also do our best to bring the 3 nations together. So the 3 countries, the soldiers and citizens of the 3 countries can work together and find common solutions, not only military, as mentioned by the General. Please, next slide, Eric. As you can see, it was founded in 2008, this partnership, primarily through a Department of Defense agreement. And you can see a photo of President Abdoulaye Wade. He was the president of Senegal at the time. He visited here in Vermont. You can see him with General Michael Thuby, the former General of the Guard, and Governor Douglas, who was our governor at the time. You can see on the right side here, or the left side as I sit, the blue helmets. Senegal is a large contributor of peacekeeping forces across the African continent. Even if Senegal is a small country, it, by per capita, is maybe the first or the second largest contributor of peacekeeping forces in Africa. So our focus in the National Guard is to train with them. We want to help build their capacity to provide more security for the region. And that is our focus. In the middle, you can see one of our Vermont military doctors. He's a dentist working on a Senegalese citizen. We conduct a medical outreach activity in Senegal once a year. We bring anywhere between 10 and 40 Vermont military doctors to Senegal, and they essentially work side by side in Senegalese hospitals with local doctors and local nurses and medical practitioners and provide care. We'll speak more about that later. The next slide, please. As you can see, we've hosted many visits here in Vermont. President Abdoulaye Wade in 2008, as I just mentioned. President Macky Sall visited in 2014. As you can see, Mayor Weinberg hosting him and our Vermont leadership. So, and every year, the long list you see is when our general visits Senegal. I think I have this information for you because it's important to show the commitment and how important it is to have consistent presence and visits to our partners to demonstrate that we are truly there as partners to grow our partnership. Next slide, please, Eric. As mentioned, most of our military activities have been related to peacekeeping. You can see these are all Vermont soldiers who have worked in various capacities, from helicopters to mountain training to combat training, and below on the left, on the bottom right here, is Vermont soldiers in Austria with Senegalese. A special program we have because we have munitions specialists in the Guard, and they help the Senegalese dispose of unsafe munitions in their country, and we are supported by Austria in this. So this is just a small example of where we try to work between our partnerships to help one another. Next slide, please. And this is probably the highlight of what I would say is the heart of the Vermont military relationship with Senegal, the medical readiness exercise. You can see we've done over 10, primarily outside of Dakar. Dakar is the capital, but in years we realized the need is outside of the capital. There's Senegal to drive across Senegal takes maybe 15 to 20 hours. And last year, our largest exercise, our largest outreach was in 3 communities in the Far East, 15 hours away from the capital city. So our soldiers traveled from the US to the capital by airplane and drove in buses 15 hours across the country through difficult terrain to arrive and provide medical care. In some of these situations, our soldiers delivered babies. There was a bus accident that happened at the same time as the exercise, and all the victims were rushed to the hospital, and our soldiers happened to be there to help the local providers with their care, saving most of those patients. And the most important for us as well is that for the American soldiers, they learn how to operate in difficult conditions, because the hospitals in Senegal are very different from the hospitals here. They can bring these skills back to America along with their colleagues. As mentioned by the general, most of our doctors are not full-time military. They work in UVM and other hospitals and clinics in Vermont. So that expertise goes back to our people here in Vermont. But at the same time, it builds capacity for the doctors that are in Senegal. And we continue to do this. We hope to do another one in February in Ziguinchor, which is the south of Senegal, where there has recently been a conflict, a separatist conflict. So we hope bringing medical outreaches will help foster some peace in the region. Thank you. So what can you do? I could speak for hours about all the great things I think the Vermont National Guard does in Senegal, because they come from our communities. The soldiers and airmen are from Burlington, from Rutland, from Waterbury, from Stowe, from all the way up to Swanton and all the way down to Brattleboro. But what can you as a community do? I would offer that you are a link to Africa. Please share your stories, share your values, share your expertise with your families back home and your colleagues, because this will strengthen, this will build resilience that is needed in what will be some challenging years. I would offer that you foster cultural exchanges. If you are not aware of the Vermont Council of World Affairs, it is a nonprofit organization here in Vermont. 2 times per year, they invite a Pan-African youth delegation. Last month, there were approximately 20 from countries like Zambia, the Gambia, I think Kenya. There were 12 countries represented. They come here as young diplomats to learn American values. They're always looking for homes to stay for the time they're here, for host families. I would ask that when this does happen, if you hear about it, come to the events, because there's nothing more welcoming if you come to America for the first time, then you see people from your own country. And this program has been happening for almost 70 years, so it will continue despite the challenges we're experiencing with government funding. And then lastly, help bring our worlds together. Connect our businesses, connect our people, are a future entrepreneur. The king of cacao, like Eric said. The ability to leverage what we have here in Vermont, because we have more. I am from the Philippines, and my colleagues and compatriots and family members in the Philippines depend sometimes on what I can provide to help in their situations. You can do the same. And organize training programs for the new Americans that come here, because that's also important. The Vermont-Afghan Alliance is a very good example of the new Afghan population arriving here in Vermont and receiving training programs on how to integrate into our state. And then organize scholarships. These are just small ways I think you can contribute. But I would be amiss if I didn't mention my good friend Ali Dieng, who will be speaking next. You might have heard General Knight speak about a sister city partnership between Burlington, your city, and Thiès East in Senegal. This was born from the hard work primarily of Ali here when he was a member of the council, and Eric has followed on with visits, and most recently, last April, so a month and a half ago, Ali and I wish I put some pictures up, but Ali and I stood beside with the mayor of Thiès East, and we spoke about what is the future opportunity for the cooperation between our city and their city. And they want assistance in education, in health, in recycling, in solid waste management, in all the good things that Vermont has that we can help contribute to the prosperity of Thiès East. And I guarantee you that there is something we in Vermont can learn from our Senegalese counterparts, because they operate in more, or they work and live in more difficult conditions than we do, and still manage to succeed. So I encourage you to be involved, and I encourage you to stay aware of what's happening when our African colleagues are visiting. And please continue what we do here as a community, because it's so important, as the mayor said, that we stay together and we work together for a prosperous future. So thank you for your time.
Now, last but not least, the king of the event, Mr. Ali Dieng. He's going to join us with a message from the community level. Ali Dieng is a leader in civic engagement and international development. He currently serves as the regional manager for building bright futures in Vermont. Originally from Mauritania and raised in Senegal, he co-founded the Vermont New American Advisory Council, thank you for that, and served 3 terms on Burlington City Council, I bow to you, where he helped establish the Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. Ali is known for his work in building inclusive communities and amplifying immigrant voices. You have the floor, Ali.
Thank you. Before I start, I really want to say thank you to Jules, to Lloyd, to Eric, and to Julie for these past couple of weeks just coming together, building this plan, building this event, right? I think we have learned how to work with each other with respect and dignity. And just so you know, African people are coming for those who are asking. They're just waiting until 5:30 to be here. Just so you know.
It's a culture thing.
Yeah. They're coming. Yes, because it's by then that we'll have the performances and the food, right? So they will be here. I also want to say really thank you to my dear friend Jim Holloway and wife, Mika, because they have been instrumental in everything that you heard here today. Ali did this, Ali did this, Ali went with us, because Jim is always on my side. Please give you know, we cannot also say anything about building a community and also being a diplomat without saying, recognizing Patrick Brown, who's here with us. And, you know, a striving and wonderful leader, and my neighbor, Virginie Jambu, she's instrumental also about racial equity. You know, Robin Lloyd, I talk about people all the time, and to just say, she's just shaker and a mover. Please give her a round of applause. And you know, I've been through this work as a city councillor, as a community member, right? It is imperative also to know that there are many people who just talk the talk, but they don't walk it, right? And you heard an initiative from our Senator, Martin Goulet, that she accomplished. Maybe it was just an idea from me, but she's the one who took it and make it into reality. The Office of New American is coming for the state of Vermont, and thank you, Senator Martin Goulet. And you know, going to Africa from April 14 to the 18th, just a couple of days with the Vermont National Guard, is when I realized how fun they are. The guards, I swear, they are so fun. And you're talking with generals, you're talking with Major General at the camp, but you spend time with them in airports, in airplanes. I officially wanted to become a guard member because you know, because when you see them with their military gears and stuff, you're scared kind of thing, but no, they are so fun. And I encourage any African to consider understanding and joining the Guard. Last fall, we were here, only youth from the new American communities, hearing from their counterparts who joined the Guard. It is just amazing, and I think we need to continue to understand and to learn and to grow. So I want to talk today a little bit about citizen diplomacy. I think it will be very important. For many of you, it will be important to understand who I am. My name is Ali. I've been talking for a long time without introducing myself. I came here in 2007, and we lived in Washington, D.C., my wife and I, and we came here in the state of Vermont because my wife loved it. Initially, I did not like Vermont. I did not like it, because I could not see people that looked like me. I could not find them here. But with time, as an AmeriCorps member, I really tried to understand, started to understand what a community it is. What a beautiful space that care deeply about the environment and also that care about each other. And now I cannot stay anywhere in the United States. I always want to come back, and I feel like this is my home now.
We don't stop here, we love it.
So it would be important to talk about citizen diplomacy because it's what brings people to people. It's basically, citizen diplomacy is rooted in actions and individual engaging across borders to build a mutual understanding, improve relations, foster cooperation beyond traditional government-to-government interaction. The governments are important, but from my perspective, the people are more important. Just think 1 minute, we are a country of 350 people, and each country have only one embassy and one consulate, right? We have 52 states. So as immigrants, it is imperative for us to become citizen diplomat every single day. How can we educate and build relations with these embassies and consulate? I think every single day we need to strive for understanding, open heart, and try to learn from each other. We are doing it every single day, right? And we need to continue to do it. It is imperative for us immigrants to strive building the new ties or strengthening new ties. We love the continent of our ancestors. We also love the continent where we live now, where we contribute to the health of the economy, where we raise our children, right? Where we pay taxes. It is imperative for us to become active member of society and to build new ties from where we live and where we come from. Right now in Africa, you all know that all over the world, there is this global fight, the Cold War still exists between Russia and the United States, between the United States and China, right? But what role can we play as immigrants? We love this continent. Reason why we're still here. We love also where we come from. I am sure you all understand the historical recent complexity of our geopolitics, right? In West Africa. There has been several coups d'etat in Burkina Faso, in Niger, in Gabon, right? In so many different places, especially in West Africa. I know that you all understand that the France has been kicked out, and in some places also, America, they no longer want them to have military presence in there. The presence of also Russia and China is also a little bit concerning. One, we don't have the same culture, we don't speak the same languages, we don't even share the same alphabetical letters, right? It's completely different. It is imperative to understand also what they're trying to do in Africa. We all see it. They build bridges, they build roads, they do a lot of stuff. But what is the interest of us Africans?
Good question.
What is our interest? Is it to build new ties or to strengthen the ties that we already have. We all know that we have history with America. Hard history, his slavery. We definitely need reparation as Africa. But how do we get there? How do we get there? And from my perspective as new Americans, let's ask ourselves, how do we deepen the ties? Let's ask ourselves, building new ones with China and Russia, is it more beneficial, or is it to strengthen what we currently exist right here? As Vermonters, we also know that the Vermont National Guard has a healthy and strong relationship with the state of Senegal since 2015. And more visible partnership and culture needs to happen. Economic ties need to be developed. Environmental infrastructure need to take place as well. We have to strengthen the ties between the two continents. As we celebrate African Day today, let us remember that diplomacy is not only continued between official titles. That's not diplomacy. It lives in our classroom, in our communities. It lives online, in online platforms. It lives in cultural impressions. Let us continue to build a strong Africa and the United States. It's not through policy, but through partnership of the people and the people. I would love to understand from your perspective and as the day goes, don't you want to go to Africa and know exactly where your next door neighbor is from? Don't you want African people to come here and learn more about your culture, learn more about this beautiful and green state? The way to do it, from my perspective, is not through the politics, but it is through the people that you already know here. We all have new friends, we all have co-workers, right? That have deep cultures, that have deep understanding of where they come from, and we need to open our eyes and need to strengthen those ties. Not long ago, after this presentation from my friend Enriquez, I also learned that the first president of Senegal came here in 1971. It's a true Janet, right here, a journalist from the Alliance Française who told me, actually, she also wrote a beautiful article about the sister city relation. Janet, I don't forget your last name, but you can, she's got the right name. And she connected me with Marc, the Director of Education of the Alliance Française of Lake Champlain. But he showed me a catalog full of pictures that documented the presence of Leopold Sédar Senghor in 1971 right here at the University of Vermont. So all Senegalese presidents came in the Green Mountain State. Isn't it beautiful? It's just through connection. It's just through partnering with the people and understanding who you are, where you come from, what you do, what you like, what you don't like, that we can find out about the history. What brings us together is greater than what is trying to separate us. Let's all become citizen diplomat, starting African Day celebration today. Thank you all for being here, and the good food is coming. Thank you.
disease. Because we are trying to move. So everyone, we are welcome to enjoy them. Merci. Allez-y, DJ. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah.
scientific speed. Bye-bye overweight. Bye-bye cholesterol problems. Bye-bye atorvastatin. This is very, very important. Applaudissez très fort pour nos mamans. Now, nous allons appeler les groupes de Burundi. Business here in Vermont. Okay, welcome, Mama Gift.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gift Abessa. I was raised here in Vermont, but I'm originally from Benin and Nigeria. Yeah, I got that right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you so much for inviting us. I'm the plant care coordinator at Loving Home Care. We're a home health care and staffing agency. So we work with the elderly and the sick in their homes. And we also staff facilities, assisted livings, rehabs, things like that, all over Vermont. We're also an African-owned company. And the majority of our workers are African and no Americans. So if you're looking for jobs, if you want to get into caregiving, if you're curious about the healthcare field, please stop by, take our card, take our our materials here, and contact us. We also have nice stone paper notebooks at our table. People love to write in them. Feel free to grab one. They're free. They're a gift from us to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gift and Deborah. I'm so proud of you. Alors, Burundi, 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 Burundi. So she has something to share with us. C'est Madame mon épouse, Madame Rachel Wechi. À vous, merci pour votre programme. Thank you.
Jumbo, hi, bonsoir. Thank you everyone. Thank you for the organizers for a nice event. I just wanted to share with you about our program. Of course, today we're celebrating Africa. We're celebrating new Americans are here in Vermont, and as we see businesses, the organization of immigrants who are participating in the life and economy of Vermont. So this program is called New American Youth on the Rise, a grant funded program that was launched last year to help girls who are interested in health science career to succeed. So as we know, if you look in health sciences, you see there are a lot of women working in health sciences when they go to the hospital, but most of them, they hold supportive positions like they are LPN, they do other work. But this program is aimed at encouraging them to become the doctors, the nurses, the pharmacists, you know, the biomedical scientists, the lab scientists. So we launched this last year with a grant from the NIH and other grants. So we recruit students in the middle school because we do not want to recruit students in high school. They are already ready to go to college. We want to help them as early when they have the passion, they think of going to college, so that they can get the support they need until they graduate. So our program last year, we recruited 32 students from 5 middle schools. We work with 5 middle schools. We provide mentorship, we provide tutoring, and we also have organized science enrichment activities. So what we do once a month, we take girls, middle school girls at the London College of Medicine, because we want them as they go through middle and high school to see college or UVM as a place where they belong. Know that they are strangers, not to learn about college when they are in college. So every month they are there, we do activities in the lab, we take them to the operating room, they spend time with surgeons, with doctors, so that they can see themselves as these people. So once a month they learn, they do different activities, they spend time with UVM medical students, they ask questions. We also teach them some social emotional learning skills to be proud of themselves, their identity. So this year we just wrapped our program, and then one other part of our program is tutoring. We know that if you want to become a doctor, a nurse, yes, you can spend time, doctor, you can have the passion, but if you're not succeeding in school, it's going to be hard for you to get to college. So another part of the program, we send tutors in every of our schools. So our tutors who are students at UVM, they go to help the participants at their different schools with schoolwork assignments. So they do at least once a week, the students at a different school, they get to spend time with tutors to get help. So we work with 5 schools, Hunt Middle School, Edmonds Middle School, Shelburne Community School, Frederick Toddle School in South Burlington, and Winooski Middle Schools. So next year, it will be our first year to have some of our students will be 9th graders, so they will be in high school. We will continue to provide support to these students. So, and our program is still continue. We have some challenges, as everybody know, about the funding cuts that's going on, but we have worked in 1 year in the schools. We've learned about the challenges that new American students face in the school system. I go at least once a week in the schools. I see what's going on. There are resources there, but the students and the parents, sometimes they don't even know how to use the resources. They don't know how to reach out to their teachers. Sometimes they struggle, and as the system is not even built to help them succeed, to help them go to college, every year you see students, they pass the grade, but those students are behind their grade level. And when they get to high school, they graduate, you see them graduate, but most of them, they won't meet the requirement to graduate. So we want to catch all those gaps early, so that if a girl wants to become a doctor, we are there to support them from middle school to high school, because this program is like a pathway from middle school, high school, and to go to college. So So that's why I wanted to share with you that this program exists, and actually right now we are recruiting 6th graders to join our program. We will start again in the fall, but we have 1 week of summer program that we're doing for our participants. It's just going to be fun activities, but in the fall we will resume again our activities to bring students in the College of Medicine and then provide tutoring. We will add more support as they move to high school, let's say college readiness, advice counseling, college counseling, advisement. So that's all we do. So I wanted to share with you that some of the youth are here are part of our program. And Ali Dieng and Senator Martin Larocque were here. They were part of the people who helped us get the grants that we had, the support, and we got support from a lot of people. So I wanted to share that this program is here. And if you know families who have girls who are currently in 5th grade or 6th grade, you know the girls are interested in health science, please have them reach out to me if they want to learn more about the program, they want to join. We want to help empower our youth, empower our girls to fulfill their dream, to make sure if they want to become doctor, nurses, pharmacists, they can do it. So we are here to help them, and thank you so much for coming.
Merci beaucoup. I can just spend the message in Swahili because we have some parents here, they cannot speak English. English is their fourth languages. Hii programu hii wazazi iko ni ya kusaidia watoto. Wale watoto wanapenda kuwa bamunganga, kuwa docteur, kuwa infirmière ou bien pharmacienne. Ni lazima sana sama kwa masomo hapa banazani yake watoto wetu abana akili, abana elimu, au biko na elimu. Nalomba kuyua koma système ya education ya États-Unis kona fonctionner. Mnaweza kuwa ba docteur, mnaweza kuwa ba professeur, lakini inalomba discipline. Il faut kusoma. Kui programme hii batoto biko naendaka deja ku salle d'opération na baminganga banaona gisi mambo napitikanaka. Tulienda ku masomo ya kimunganga Mkongo, haiko ziaka. Tulisoma na tulifanya specialty ya kupasula mecho Mkongo. Alors hapa pia masomo ya kimunganga haiko ziaka. Inalomba wazazi batoto bakwe discipline pour que kesho tutakuwa bazee. Babijana banjo batatutunza. Samwa culture yetu naye hapa iko modele mwamekana tuko na batoto wetu banakuwa bamunganga batatusaidia. So I will just give the advice to the young people. They have to understand that medical school is not easy or to become a pharmacist. Even back home I went to medical school and I did my residency, I was doing eye surgery, so it's not easy, even in Africa. So here too, it's very important if the parent can collaborate with the program to help kids, because when they are in the elementary school, they have a chance to go to the operating room to see what is going on. So it's the reason I will try to explain in Swahili. And at the end, I have one friend here. He's going to talk about his business, and then we can have the youth group for ALV so they can share dance. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lloyd. I'm the Junior Business Director for E-Frame Cleaning Services. Today I'm here just to share the basic things that our business does. We do move-ins, move-outs, residential cleaning, as well as commercial cleaning. We are a African family-owned company, new here in Burlington. We also as well do general cleaning for anyone that wants cleaning over and over. If anybody has any further questions or wants to network, feel free to come talk to me at the booth right here, and I'll be able to do 20% off any cleaning just from talking to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. Thank you.
So, my first question to you, anyone can answer. How do we ensure that Africa is not just a recipient of sustainability frameworks, but a leader in designing them? The floor is open.
I can give you one good example.
Thank you.
I can give one good example from our experience working with Senegal. Vermont has a very active and very professional emergency management department. You're familiar with the floods we had last year, which was 1 year exactly after the floods the year before. And if many of you might have been here during Hurricane Irene. So Senegal asked of us expertise in emergency management. We were able to convince the state government, working together with the military, to send our experts there to Senegal and strengthen their capacities, their doctrine, their training, and how to manage disasters. Because if you've been to Senegal, it also is a country that has a very long rainy season that destroys much of the city. But after 4 or 5 years of Vermonters, and I won't even say military, mostly civilian experts in emergency management and commitment, more so the commitment, because it took more than 1 year. It took maybe 7 years of commitment of our professionals going to Senegal to strengthen their system. And now Senegal is an example for West Africa. And even in the great earthquake in Turkey a year and a half ago, the Senegalese were deployed to Turkey to help with that disaster because of their expertise. That came with a lot of assistance from Vermont, the state of Vermont.
Thank you. Great neighbor. Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, I'll just add that it starts by, changing the way we look at each other. It's important. You see, and then at the African Union, where I was, there was always a new word that is à la mode, sustainability, da-da-da. But at the end of the day, China, the US, and France are the largest contributor to the budget of the African Union. So, as much as the rest of the world needs to respect Africa and deal with Africa as equal partners, the Africans themselves have to look at themselves as also contributors to the rest of the world and also better manage the resources over there, because it starts there. We're seeing it across the continent, but we hope that it's something that will happen, because it cannot come only from the partners, the international partners.
Yes, that's a good point. But I'm going to divert a little bit. Most of our African leaders are also kleptocrats. We know that. There is a lot of mismanagement of funds in African governance. How can America help us deal with that? Because from what we understand, most of those leaders have a very good relationship with the American government. That is also a huge point, and that's going on right now in Africa.
I think we also need to strengthen democracy here, because the way it's going on can give also, like, a lot of leaders, and I was a reporter, I went around, a lot of leaders now across the continent know that the US is no longer asking for more than, who can be a better partner against China, So as the Africans also look at the US and the rest of the world, the Western world, as friends of democracy. So if democracy is decaying here, it could also, it will definitely not take off on the continent. So here, the Americans have the responsibility to defend this beautiful thing that is democracy. I grew up in Africa. My father was a fan of Kennedy. Every day I would take my breakfast under the portrait of Kennedy. that what America represented to him, so much so that he wouldn't wear any other shoes but floor shine shoes. Because that was the idea of America, the idea of friendship. So much so that, you know, even pink eyes epidemic in Africa are called Apollo, in reference to the mission to Apollo and probably the dust that came down on Earth, and local people thought that that's why at this time there was that epidemic. So we have friendship, we look at America also, not the government necessarily, but the ideals that took me from Washington to come to Vermont, those of sustainability, real you know, defense of the environment. This is what I think.
Thank you. Good answer. Anyone else? Senator, do you have anything you want to say about sustainability?
I'm just feeling like maybe we're not in a position to give advice right now because of what's happening in our federal government. Unfortunately, you could make the argument that it's also a kleptocracy, and so unfortunately, hopefully this will pass.
Exactly.
But yeah,
and it should pass soon.
I hope so. Yes.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Ali?
Yeah, very quickly, I mean, I think the elements of citizen diplomacy is really important. Because what is hard for us as Africans is we always want our government to do something for us. And we need to break that cycle. The people, especially the new Americans, the people of the diaspora, what you learn from elsewhere, you need to strive to bring it back. What is good in here, you need to try to take it here and bring it there, and vice versa. You know what I mean? We all diplomats, and from my perspective, we need to have that mindset and try to move it forward. Another element is about culture, and that's the only thing that we have left. I can be your slave, but the dreams only belong to me as your slave. You can be my master, but my dreams don't belong to you.
My ideas.
So our culture, we need to sell it, we need to control it in order for us to not be beggars anymore. Our religion. And it is important also for the new Americans who are here to do all you can so your kids can know your culture, keep your language, and know who you are. It is everything.
Thank you. Okay, so now, are there any questions from the audience you've listened to?
Oh, you bet.
Sir, can you introduce yourself? Sure. And your question is what?
My name is Bob Ackland, and I am the husband of Marguerite Edelman, who is the person who set up the youth leadership program that Maimouna was talking about. And so Maimouna is the young woman who was 16 when she and a bunch of other teenagers came from 5 different countries in Francophone Africa to Plattsburgh, New York, of all places, and spent 2 weeks there. And then, and during that 2 weeks, they were all working together on projects for youth leadership. And when Maimouna went back to her country, to Burkina Faso, she's the one who set up the program. And the only thing I wanted to point out is, you heard her say that she set up a program where sponsors sponsored children in schools. Those sponsors were in Ouagadougou. Those sponsors weren't American sponsors. And in response to your question about sustainability, what Maimouna did is she went back to Africa and she said, we in Africa, as indigenous people, can set up programs. And so the children in the schools in the Sahel in Dori were sponsored by students who were taking university classes in Ouagadougou. And they were giving $10 in $20, and that was supporting the children. So my question is, how do you all think that we can help continue this connection between these two countries, the U.S. And when I said country, I was thinking of Burkina Faso. But these two continents, actually. I now live in Canada, by the way. So North America and Africa can work together to make this world a better place. And I would like to hear how you all think that can happen.
Thank you very much.
So a small example, Ali has been a really great proponent here of citizen diplomacy, because it's true. It's as citizens, you can do so much for your home country, as many of us in this room have in many ways. I think, to your point, one of the glaring issues that we see, my observation, my personal observation in Africa, across Africa, not to generalize, but the places I've been in Africa since I've been to many different parts of it, is a lack of empowerment of the population in all areas of society, especially education. I think if citizens of all types don't have equal access to education and proper values, you come into a position where democracy starts to falter. And many of these countries are, as you mentioned, democracies, but maybe kleptocracies from perceptions. But empowerment is so important. And what can you do? There are organizations. There are so many. If you just look online, what are the nonprofits who are contributing to those empowerment initiatives, those educational initiatives? I can speak to one here in Vermont called Green Across the World, if you have heard of them or not. They specifically have a program in Senegal, they have one in Japan and other countries. But there are organizations out there that are doing the best they can, and they're not funded by the government. They fundraise, they go door to door, they ask for donations, and they bring teachers, they bring students to those countries, or they invite those students to our country, or teachers to our country, to help with that empowerment. And I can't speak to all the organizations out there, but there are so many. If you just look, become involved, become aware, and contribute.
Thank you.
Very briefly, just to add on to that, Americans are becoming more and more isolated than ever. And I work with folks in the legislature who are scared to come to Burlington. Burlington is scary to them. It's a big city, it's, dangerous. They've never left their small Vermont town. And this is happening all across our country, and I think we need to really be investing in these programs that help Americans look beyond their horizon, to see what is out there, to see the world, and not live in an isolated bubble. That is dangerous and it's unhealthy.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
But can I add one more thing? I just want to add a couple of things also. At the state level, maybe Major Enriquez and Senator Goulet can talk about it. There is this bill called the S30, trying to do just exactly about your question. What can we do to better support all the initiatives as well? I think it's one. The second element is about supporting organizations, like we said. For example, we are organizing a trip to Senegal in August, and already Ernie Parmolo already committed fund in order for us to take civilians, not army people, I'm sorry, but take civilians and bring them to Senegal so that they can see. And yes, you would love to come with us. Let's sit down and then let's organize so that you have brothers and sisters waiting for you and taking care of you when you get there, and how do we bring them here as well. I think it's another element. Thank you.
Yes, hello. My name's Robin Lloyd, and Toward Freedom magazine is one of the co-sponsors of this event, and we have a new article on our website, or it will be there shortly, about the president of Burkina Faso, the current one. His name is Traoré, and he took power by force, but according Thomas Sankara, who was, if you follow the history of Africa and read up about it, was a very forward-thinking leader for 4 years in Burkina Faso. And so I think this, but Traoré, I think, is rebuffing not only France, but also the United States, but he's empowering his people. I'm just wondering whether any of you can comment on him and what is really happening there in the Sahel region.
Thank you, Robin. Because I know my people that towards freedom, when we started it, I was supposed to give an idea of what was going on politically and militarily and geopolitically in Africa. But it's a long story. What is going on in Burkina Faso is emblematic of, the rest of the region in general. You have a new generation of leaders that want to drift away from any relationship of former colonial being and colonial master. That's first of all. Yeah, you have more and more Maimuna. You have more and more people that, have learned to love what the Western world came up with in terms of big theory, in sociology, in politics. So now they say, how come do you want us to be into democracy, but yet you hanging out with tyrants that are keeping us down? So how come do you want us to do, a rule of law, but those tyrants that just because they can open the gates for you to get some resources, you give them all. A lot of revolutions, not necessarily revolutions, armed revolutions, were killed by the idea of keeping the status quo. Burkina Faso, unfortunately, is no longer a democracy. Because as much as I would like to see leaders like Traoré reform the country, bring like uprightness, I also want a plural expression of democracy. Differences. And so if we don't pay attention, we're going to have a bunch of leaders in West Africa under the pretext of doing something good. I will stay in power. Like a lot of political parties are banned in these countries. Yes, Traoré and his folks are right. We need to have a new rapport between the West and Africa, but at the same time, it cannot prosper without democracy. So we're facing like we cannot choose between democracy and just a leader who maybe is using better the resources of the country, a leader that is redistributing the it should not be a leader like it tends to be. If we like the type of Traoré, then we don't have anything to reproach to Trump. Because here we don't want a leader that just sit down at his desk and executive order everything. Traoré could be that kind of leader. I hope that, it won't be a long transitional period and that gradually, but also it's important to know that 200 years of colonialism, it's difficult to dismantle. The same way
it can happen though.
Yeah, it can happen, but it's difficult to dismantle. So, do we need to have gulags over there to make sure everybody is in line, or can we do it so much so that everybody has a say? It's have to be seen, and then you cannot control. He's like he's good buddies with the Russians, he's good buddies with the Chinese. But it doesn't mean that his new friends I mean, are good examples. You know, we want to be friends with everybody. I left my country 30 years ago, where I even refused my US citizenship for a long time because I thought I could go back to my country to be a big, I don't know, everybody dreams about being a minister or somewhere in this country. But as soon as I got there, I faced people that don't understand and say, you are too Americans, you want to go too fast. I said, come on, democracy is not too fast. I want everybody to have their say. I want everybody to be, you know, able. So Africa needs to be the homework too.
But I believe we can learn a lot from the American people.
Yeah.
You know, this is the oldest democracy in the world, and we live in, I mean, whatever is happening now, we don't know what's going to happen down the road. But this is a great example, because I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I've been going back to my country regularly and trying to organize the community just at the image of American communities. And it's very hard, but we are trying, you know, because this country taught us something very valuable, the power of community, the power of public service. This is amazing. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Virginie Diamond.
Or put it closer to your...
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So my name is Virginie Diamond, and I am from the Republic of Congo. I'm a medical doctor, and as many of my colleagues in Vermont, my credentials were not recognized, so could not work as a physician in the United States. And I just wanted to make a comment, two comments. First one, that hundreds of years of colonialism are difficult to dismantle, but it's not impossible. And I think that the first thing for us as new Americans, as the diaspora, is first of all to take advantage of the education. Without education, nothing can happen. So we are here really to make sure that we promote education, we encourage our peers to really take advantage of the educational system to get the knowledge, to get the strength that we need to be able to dismantle whatever colonizers have erected. That's the first one. The second thing, and I Major Jean explained that you make trips to Senegal, and during your last trip, you were able to help provide medical assistance. Your team was able to provide medical assistance to people who got into an accident, and that expertise that they got over there, they were able to transfer it here and to kind of do capacity building with the physicians here. So I would love for us in Vermont to be able to use the people that we have here. There are people here who have the experience, we have the expertise that is needed to help with New Americans' health. And those people are not even regarded. They are transparent, like myself. And I don't think that's that's really, yeah. So if we can take advantage of the people that are here to help our peers who come from different countries, so that we can promote global health in Vermont. Vermont is diversifying, there's no doubt. We are here, the room is, you know, has multiple skin colors, and we have to be able to provide the appropriate health to everyone. What else? I know that we're working on that bill that will provide, that will provide ways to have credentials recognized, but until then, we don't know when it's going to happen. And so then maybe we can, we can get into conversations to see how we can work together. In my country, we say one finger cannot clean a face. We need the 5 fingers. And we are working here with only 1 finger when 1 other 3 fingers are here and used. So we need to do something. So these were my comments. Thank you so much for holding this event. It's very powerful. It creates collaboration. It opens up eyes for those who did not have any idea of the wealth that the African continent has, because that's really a wealthy continent. And thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for your comment. Well understood and well heard. But I believe Vermont is the place because they do have those connections. So you don't have to wait in silence in your house. You have the people, they're here. This event has helped us connect with the services in Vermont. This is a very diverse, it's very welcoming to people like you and I. So this is your chance to meet the people who can help you be a part of the community and bring your expertise. Thank you.
I rise with a thank you, and I rise with a question. The thank you is a thank you to organizers of African Day, the speakers, the platform, and I thank you because there's a difference between indoctrination and education. When I was growing up, the only picture, literally and otherwise, that we were exposed to in school was that of Africa being a place where Tarzan, or Tarzan, whatever, spoke to the animals, and the black people of Africa were afraid. They had to go to the white man or Tarzan swinging through the trees to get answers. There's a difference between education and indoctrination. Much of that indoctrination still goes on. I have 3 degrees and I'm still learning. So I thank you. This is education. You're touching us in ways, regardless of what our ages are, that our school system, although it has benefits, does not speak up boldly and tell the truth to all the people. That's why we have a lot of so-called racism and other kind of ills that pit people against each other. What we're experiencing here is education, and we are thankful you are blessing us with that. My question, and to be honest, the doctor, our sister here, has given me part of the answer. But my question has to do with comment major that you made relevant to numbers. You said something about some 2 billion people, and as we look at years to come, perhaps an estimated 4 billion. As we look at the numbers and we look at sustaining resources, water, food, right now there are countries and individuals who are using water as a tool to oppress and kill. So what would be helpful for us to know as we look at anticipated growth in population and the need, the sustaining resources resources to sustain us, whether it's water, the air itself, the food, the affordable food, because people are already beginning to use food as a weapon and are hoarding food. Children are starving because powers that be are hoarding food and using it as a weapon. What wisdom words do you have for us along those lines? Thank you.
That's a very difficult question, Lloyd. I don't know if any of us want to answer this question, but I will offer an outsider's perspective. Again, I am not from Africa, I'm anywhere in Africa, but I've learned a bit in my last few years working there. You're absolutely right, especially in a period where climate is effectively changing, that, and I can speak specifically to West Africa, the littoral coasts, where scarce resources are being used by criminal organizations to radicalize populations and cause fear and threaten the wider population. It's true. My only advice I would offer is that the world needs to come together to continue to provide best practices and solutions to help manage these scarce resources or find alternatives for these resources. Africa as a whole, as a continent, has historically been a resource-heavy continent, region. The West and other parts of the world have historically taken so much from it. I think it's time we find a way to help it sustain or give back to it. But one observation I'll give you is that as much as we in the West or outside of the African continent believe we have expertise, we have education, we have technology, you would be surprised how much innovation there is in African solutions to African problems. Because for so many generations and decades and centuries, millennia even, the African continent has been able to manage its problems on its own with the innovation they have amongst themselves. Now, each of the regions from my observation are very different. They have different cultures, different languages, different religions, and they're not all unified despite having an African Union, ECOWAS, the Western Community of Economic States, or other organizations. It is important that we try to find balance between what the West can offer with what is already a solution at home. And as you see, maybe right now, the United States is not ready to provide consistent and persistent assistance, but I strongly believe in years to come, assistance will continue in areas like this. But you're absolutely right. The limited resources in the region are cause for security concern across not only Africa, but those problems export to the rest of the world. So it's extremely important that we work together for a common solution.
Thank you.
I think it's time to go eat, right? But, you know, but I just will say, it's in Vermont that I learned about the environment, and then when I returned with my daughter, she's here, she was born in DC, around 4 years old, we went back because I thought I could be a big man over there, until I realized that, you know, maybe it's here that I can make more, you know, impact in the rest of the world, even in my own country. I brought to Abidjan my Vermont exubérance pour l'environnement. We organized the first Earth Day celebration in West Africa with the help of the US government, because it's hard for the people to understand even that, you know, cutting down the trees for cacao. But also a lot of countries in Africa are plagued by cash crops. My own tribe, which has invented a fantastic dish, a staple called atieke. It's a couscous made of cassava. Cassava was central in the life of our tribe. Women would escape their men's domination because they are the ones who make atieke and have the money. So the men will, you know, just have money, can I have a little bit of money? Voila. So, but with the explosion of cash crops such as rubber trees, caoutchouc, EVA, no more cassava. So the countries are devoted, for example, Ivory Coast, as much as I like cacao, Ivory Coast has lost 95% of its original forest, the primary forest, to cacao. And the farmers over there just get not even $1 per kilo, when a kilo can be sold for $10 even. But so to make more money, they have to cut down more trees, use more Roundup, use more of those herbicides, and so much so that kids are suffering from cancer now. The incidence of cancer is rising because the moms, they have the babies in the back, and then they spray Roundup. Roundup that is forbidden here goes there. So we need to understand that we cannot go just be a resource provider continent for the rest of the world. And thank to God, I asked Green Mountain, Lake Champlain chocolate, would you like to have my chocolate? They said, Eric, as long as you don't bring us raw beans, because we would like the farmers over there to transform those beans, the first processing, before it comes to Vermont, so that we can share, the proceeds of their labor. So it would take this kind of approach to save the resource over there.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So,
very quickly, I think it's relevant. This is such a great question that we just asked. Thank you for asking it, and thank you, Benjamin, also. I think from my perspective, it would be imperative for especially Africans of the diaspora, right? African Americans or African foreign born that living here in the United States. We need a better system of government. And from my perspective, we need people who understand, for example, the current regime of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Diakhar Faye and Ousmane Sonko. They understand the dynamics of the geopolitics that exist. And from my perspective, another leader such as Ibrahima Traoré does not understand it. And this is just my own view, right? It will be imperative for each and every single one of us to understand what are the 4 key elements for a country to succeed, to develop, and to be sustainable. And one of them is for African countries themselves to stop these coups, the coup d'etats. It always perturbs, it always changes the dynamic for a country to become really democratic. The second element from my perspective is to understand what are the key elements for a country to survive when climate change is actually a problem for the globe, right? The land, be able to manage the land effectively, be able to make sure that the water is coming abundantly, right? And be able to have crops that are recolted, right? And also consumed by the people. It is always important to also stop always borrowing money from these big money corporates such as FME, such as the Banque Mondiale, and for people to strive to live locally and live from their own means, and also educating their kids of climate change. I think that would be it.
And it's not easy. Sometimes you have to do a coup when, you have tyrants that don't want you to do. Sometimes you have to do revolutions.
We should find a better way than coups.
Yeah, we have to find better ways than coup, but we have then to fight for the conditions that will.
I think we need to empower our youth. We need to empower the population. So it needs to start at the grassroots level. The population have first to grasp what is democracy. Why are we suffering? What should we do to change the system? So we don't need any more coups. We just need to work together, learn from this great democracy where we are.
I think to Roy's point, it starts with the people. We talked about the exponential growth of the population that will occur in the next 50 to 75 years. And as we've all said 3 or 4 times here, it begins with education. And there are so many ways here in our small state of Vermont that you can contribute to that education. And it will have an impact, because anyone here who has been to Africa, any part of Africa, and I hate referring to it in general, but I mean any country in Africa, you see the small that we give of our time, treasure, and talent to anyone in the continent, it goes a long way.
Exactly.
And I just encourage you,
Yeah.
like these are the two right gentlemen to connect with to make things happen on the continent.
So we need more books and pens, but we don't need more arms. We don't need weapons in Africa. We need books, we need pens, we need education.
And then we need food today, Julie.
Thank you, guys.
We need
Thank
food.
you,
And before we go, Julie, please, I would like us to have a minute of silence for Sandy Baird, talking about education. Sandy Baird and Robin Lloyd have been educating their fellow Vermonters about the rest of the world. Towards Freedom is a magazine that started 70 plus years ago, like from Chicago. A guy who was not even born in Africa opened the eyes of his fellow American to what was going on around the world. Sandy Baird passed away, unfortunately, this year. If she was here, we wouldn't even go to eat because we would have continued that discussion all night. I would like us to pay a tribute to her, observe a minute of silence. Julie, you insisted on that. To Sandy Baird, Sandy, wherever you are, I know you can't.
She's listening.
Yeah, she's listening. It's hard to have Sandy silent, but we'll have to get used to it. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir. I can speak a little bit in French. Swahili Lingala. Okay? Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Ah, vous avez, c'est trop froid. Bonsoir. En Swahili, jambo. Habari gani? Mko bazima? Nani shafika hapa Tanzania? Tanzania, mnaya Tanzania? Kenya. Habari zenu? Mbote mingi. Ok. Maintenant, si je cite votre pays, vous allez vous lever pour vous mettre un peu de l'ambiance avant de manger. Ne vous en faites pas, il y a à manger. Hein? Alors, nous commençons par la Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. Nous allons en Égypte. Égypte. Mona, where are you? Oh, thank you. Oh, après, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso. Ok, Maïmouna. Alors, on y va. Sénégal. Après, Mauritanie. Après, nous descendons petit à petit. Maroc. Vous êtes là? Maroc? Non, Maroc. Morocco. Ok. Après, Tunisie, vous êtes là? Non. Après, on y va. South Africa, Afrique du Sud. Alors, on y va. Tanzanie, vous êtes là? Kenya, vous êtes là? Kenya. Burundi. Rwanda. Congo, Brazzaville. Benin. Je suis en train de chercher, attendez, à tout Seigneur tout honneur. Enfin, la République démocratique du Congo. Éthiopie. Donc vous serez vraiment très à l'aise. En Swahili maintenant tunasema kuna chakula iko tayari, kuna chakula ya Burundi, ya Congo, ya Ethiopia na Eritrea. Bande ko baroba lingala biloko za prego banga tebogolia. Tuzana biloko uti Congo, tuzana biloko uti Burundi, na tuzana biloko uti na Ethiopie. Alors bon appétit à